Hi, family, and welcome to our Thinking Things Tuesday. And as you all know, what we do on Tuesdays, we look at current affairs which are making headlines in South Africa. So, like any other Tuesday, without wasting your time, we've got the laptop in front of us and we're going to look at what's been happening, what's been making headlines. And also, just for starting, I would like to say thank you all for all the love and support. I really appreciate it. So, to all the new members, family members, welcome. And please don't forget when you finish to watch the video to subscribe, comment, recommend this channel to anybody which you think might be interested. And also, please do share. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the growth, and hopefully you will stay around and we'll have fun together. So for today on our Thinking Tanks Tuesdays, like any other Tuesdays, we look at the headlines. As you all know, last week we were so pissed over what's been happening in South Africa, the Free Zuma riots and looting which was taking place. Apparently, the ball have been rolling, the army was on the streets, and people have been arrested, and it's just a mix of emotions now because even the looters now feel like it's unfair for them to be arrested. Others are blaming poverty, struggling, and so on for what they did. So yes, it seems a bit quiet in KwaZulu-Natal and Pietermaritzburg, the places where the looting was happening, because there has been a big army deployment in those provinces or in those cities. And I think also in Gauteng there have been deployments as well. So also, yes, it's a bit quiet, but also there's been those small flare-ups there and there. And then in the Western Cape now, in Cape Town, ever since last week I was supposed to go do my, I use public transport normally whenever. So I was supposed to go do my shopping and I couldn't because we just didn't have public taxis in our area. So it's been going like that ever since last week, and then only now when I try to find out, it seems like there's been some taxi war or some taxi unrest somewhere in Belleville. I'm not sure, but then it has affected all the taxi routes, including now the buses. And as you all know, we do not have a metro rail system. It's been, I don't know, from outside, when last did you see a train? So before the lockdown, there was no trains around. Children had to be late to for school because of our train service. So you can imagine how bad is train service in Simonstown. And yes, the buses are still there and there. You can still see buses, but buses which are coming from your Khayelitsha and so on, I don't really think they are around. So there is a bit of a problem or issue with the taxis in Cape Town, and hopefully the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, will try to resolve the issues. If maybe he gets to invite them to a round table and try to find out what's going on. So without wasting any time, let's see what we have in front of us. So we've got national entertainment lifestyle. Okay, let's go to national. I know that one of the things which are making headlines is Zuma's case as well. It was visual hearing on one of Zuma's cases, because we know Baba in jail like this. So there was also the Zuma case on the 18th. It was Mandela Day, whereby you need to show 67 minutes of doing great, doing good. But this year it was kind of at the back because people are still concentrating on cleaning up the looting and so on. And with the people taking brooms and cleaning the malls which they were looting last week, it's kind of nice and everything. But then in one of the Facebooks which I saw, there was a picture of a typical location where people were dumping wastage, were dumping anything on the roads and not cleaning up. And somebody was asking, Why is it easy for us to go clean the malls and everything, but we can't take a broom and clean in front of our houses and so on? But that's also another thinking of how we have to wait until something drastic happens before we take action. But and also now with the whole looting which is happening, people now do not want to face the law, do not want to face the music of the law, because now they kind of feel like they've been, if they are arrested, they've been, that's unfair. And also people feel like it was a bit unfair maybe to call the soldiers on them, but it was kind of like a riot. People were like out of hand, so something needed to be done. So if they feel like it was wrong to call the soldiers to come try to down the situation, then that one we can't really say, because something needed to be done. And I think the soldiers were the only solution, because people were looting in front of the police. And people need to stop this thing of whenever there's a crisis or whenever there's a problem, they first solution, call the soldiers, call the soldiers. The soldiers are not for domestic problems, they need to call the police for domestic problems. The soldiers are here to protect our borders, are here to protect the country, not domestic affairs. That's the police job, not the soldiers. So when it comes to internal deployments, it's just a waste of time for soldiers. They should be waiting to protect the borders. They should be going and offer peace keeping missions somewhere than to look after people which don't respect the police. So every time when there's a problem, the new thing now is call the soldiers. You get the unrest with the taxis, call the soldiers. People, give the soldiers a break. Fix your own problems. If you behave like you have no parents and you want the soldiers to take care of you, when the soldiers take over and kick your butts, then it's all wrong. You want to run to the human rights organizations, but you're the first ones to call the soldiers. So if you want to call the soldiers, you must know that the soldiers are wired differently than the police. Anyway, let's just get to the news of the day and see. And there's also been a lot of deaths due to the corona, and it has been bad. So you can understand that it's winter, and winter means that it's winter, and winter means that the weather has dropped and there has been snow in other parts of the country as well. So in front of me, without wasting any time, let's get to what has been making headlines or current affairs in our country. This, in front of me, I've got the South African, and it says breaking: Jacob Zuma corruptional trial postponed to August by Thabo Baloyi, and this was written 7 hours ago. Let me just press a like, saying that I'm reading it. I feel bad if I read people's work and I don't even support, so I might as well just press a like. So this is from Thabo Baloyi, and it was written 7 hours ago. It's from the South African. I seem to be reading a lot of this South African news. So it says it is a victory for former President Jacob Zuma. The High Court in Pietermaritzburg has moved to have his corruption trial postponed to 10 August 2021. This is to allow for the adjudication of issues raised in a special plea. Oh gosh, I need to start taking the dictionary. Delivery judgment on Tuesday morning, 20 July 2021. Presiding Judge Pete Cron said the matter would, however, continue being heard visually. Zuma's legal counsel, headed by advocate Dalim Pofu, had argued that he should be allowed to testify in person. The former president is currently serving his 15-month prison sentence for contempt after being convicted by the Constitutional Court earlier in July. A recap: his corruption trial emanates from the arms deal, which was clinched in the late 90s when he was still KwaZulu-Natal's Economic Development MEC. Zuma is accused of having pocketed bribes from French arms manufacturer Thales in exchange for using his political influence to secure them the military defense procurement contract. Zuma's arms deal case: what happens next? When the matter resumes in August, the High Court in Pietermaritzburg will hear Jacob Zuma's bid to have the prosecutor in the case, Billy Downer, recuse himself. Arguing for NPA, advocate Wim Trengov poured cold water over the former president's application and accused him of using delaying tactics to avoiding facing the charges in the arms deal case. The accused has for more than 10 years taken every point in the book to avoid having his day in court. He is desperately seeking to avoid answering the charges of corruption, fraud, and money laundering against him. He raises objections again and again. The objections raised today were objections which were raised and decided against by the Supreme Court of Appeal in the spy tapes case and by the full branch of the Pietermaritzburg High Court in Zuma's failed bid for a stay of prosecution, said Trengov. So that's what's happening with Baba's case. Baba's arms deal case has been postponed till August. So that's what has been happening in the Zuma camp today. So that's his arms deal case, though, which has been postponed, trial postponed to August, and which he's still going to do it visually if he's still in jail. So Bheki denies police received intelligence before unrest and looting. Let's see. And then with the unrest and looting, when it comes to the intelligence, there's been a lot of who did what, who didn't do what. Did they police minister or they receive intelligence information before this whole Gauteng uprising started or looting started and so on? So now the ministers don't know who to blame because now they're blaming each other. So this one in front of me, it's Times Live. It said Bheki Cele denies police received intelligence before unrest and looting. And this was written by Andy C. Makinana, and that was 10 hours ago. And also press the like. And then it says, Police Minister Bheki Cele has denied receiving intelligence before the violent uprisings in parts of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng last week. This contradicts repeated assertions by his state security colleague Ayanda Dlodlo, who told journalists last week that intelligence structure had been hard at work feeding the police information for them to respond to planned events that formed part of the unrest. The violence, which started in KwaZulu-Natal and spread north, was triggered by the recent imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma. Cele told a meeting of Parliament's Joint Standing Committee on Defence and the Portfolio Committee on Police that it was not a matter of him not seeing the product, as he referred to gathered intelligence information, but that when such information was shared with the police, he would have been the one to sign for it. He said he would have been the recipient of such intelligence as it was shared at ministerial level. One ministry, he said, will send it directly to another ministry, and only then will the police minister call his director general, DG, and operatives to inform them of the information. And Mbakti Cele told MPs on Tuesday, it's not that I have never seen that product. These products you sign for when you receive them. You sign when you receive the product of state security. You sign, you go and check my signature there. He said this was how things were done previously. Cele said Dlodlo would have given the product to me because the state security minister could not give the product direct to the DG. It will have to come by me and I will give it to the National Police Commission. I want to repeat here, I have never seen that product. Dlodlo was not part of the meeting. Cele was responding to a question from FF Plus leader Piet Groenewald, who had asked why he ignored intelligence supplied to him and why police crime intelligence did not act. The police minister said unless it was intelligence that crossed SA borders, crime intelligence did not deal with state issues. and dealt with crimes like cash in transit, heist, and housebreakings. They would at times follow up on information from state security when shared with them. Hey, I'm confused. Last week, Lotlo told the media in Cele's presence that if the intelligence structures had not been working, the country would have seen significantly worse violence and destruction. From inception, before the violence flared up between the police service and state security, we were sharing information from day one when everything started. We did share information with the police, said Lodlo. Lodlo spokesperson Marva Scott declined to comment on the matter. So now is the blaming games. The police knew what was gonna happen. If they didn't know why they didn't know, and the intelligence said they did share the information with the police. We don't know who's telling the truth. Okay, Daily Maverick in front of me. I've got Museneke reports. Election shall be delayed until now later. So it's that one we buy. Should we have the elections this year or not due to the COVID? Okay, here's the one I would like to say. Lodlo hits back at Cele, insisting her debt did its job in warning of violence. See, now it's answer back and forth. And this one is from Eyewitness News, and it's written by T.D. Madia, and it was 53 minutes ago. Let's press a like. Now we're reading the stuff, might as well give some love. It says, Lodlo hits back at Cele, insists her department did its job in warning of violence. So, Lodlo said, oh no. Johannesburg, it says, State Security Minister Ayanda Lodlo is hit back at her counterpart, Police Minister Bheki Cele, insisting that her department did its job. Cele told Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police that he did not receive intelligence warning of the violence that unfolded in parts of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. But Lodlo has told Eyewitness News on Tuesday that intelligence was given all the time to structure and not individuals. Last week, President Cyril Ramaphosa admitted that the country was ill-prepared for what he has labeled a failed insurrection. As the country reflects on events of the past week, questions have been asked on whether the wide-scale looting was failure of intelligence services, lack of an adequate operational by police to quell it, or both. Cele and Lodlo both sit and represent the country's interests in government security cluster. Yet they can't agree on what went wrong, resulting in the deaths of more than 200 deaths. Cele faced MPs who wanted to know why he ignored intelligence warning of an insurrection. The Minister of SSA could not give a direct warning to DG. It will have to come through via myself, and I pass it on to the National Commissioner. Lodlo refused to be drawn on the public spot, but has defended her department, saying intelligence was given to structures and not individuals. In a response to Eyewitness News, she further explained how state security agents approaches intelligence work, saying it came as strategic, tactical, and operational, and then dissemination of the information was given to specific clientele in reference to departments. Lodlo said her department had tabled the relevant reports with the relevant structures. So that's what Lodlo said on Cele not receiving any information. So it's between ANC and who's to blame for the country not ready for what was happening. Okay, we are afraid to stand here for nothing, standard community. Okay, we're gonna go to the one, try to find the one about taxi violence in Cape Town. Let's do this one. Zuma Foundation wants inquiry into deaths of those who died during. Some of the looters or regulars at my pub. I feel betrayed. Okay, let's do this one. The Star. Oh gosh, my eye. This one is from the Star, and the Star, it was written by Itumeleng Mafisa, and it was 4 hours ago. And it says Zuma Foundation wants inquiry into deaths of those who died during unrest. First week. Johannesburg. The Jacob Zuma Foundation has called for the establishment of a commission of inquiry into the deaths of over 200 people in the country during days of unrest and looting of businesses. Spokesperson of the foundation, Zwanele Manyi, said the deaths during the unrest were a serious indictment on the government and the country. Investigating the reason for these deaths will help bring closure for the victims' families, he said. Lives were lost. There must be a proper investigation into this, and the ineptness of our security cluster must come into focus. Did they not anticipate this? Why did they wake up after the fact? South Africa is in a mess. The whole thing is a mess, Manyi said. The foundation also wanted President Cyril Ramaphosa investigated for his inflammatory statements of classifying the unrest as ethnic mobilization. Ramaphosa later changed this to say the unrest was failed insurrection. The foundation had approached the SA Human Rights Commission, SHRC, to complain. What should happen is that the president must apologize for comments that could have led to further incitement of violence. If you look at what's happening in KwaZulu-Natal, it could be argued that these comments were an entrenchment of tribalistic issues. They became more prominent after those comments. He is now saying that it's an insurrection, and even that is wrong. He can't call it an insurrection, Manyi said. He said it was worrisome that Ramaphosa seemed to be contradicting Defense Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, who said the unrest did not have the characteristic of an insurrection. The foundation would not retract its complaint to the SAHRC until the president apologized, he said. He thinks that we are stupid fools. The minister explained the elements of insurrection. Ramaphosa must back up what he is saying, that it was insurrection. Who is the face of the insurrection, and why is this person not being arrested? He asked. Manyi said if the government really had the appetite to arrest all those who might have said something to fuel the unrest, then the president should also be investigated. His comments must be investigated as to what extent his comments created unrest. There must be a clear investigation about how much damage his comments did. He must take accountability, he said. Manyi was also shocked by the amount of ammunition that has showed up since the unrest. The government has concerning itself with arresting people who had stolen groceries instead of arresting criminal elements involved in the unrest, he said. He himself had become a victim of racial profiling in KwaZulu-Natal at a roadblock in an upmarket suburb. The caliber of weapons that I'm seeing being brandished by these vigilance roadblocks are scary. People have Uzi guns and AK-47s. Why is it that we have a government that is not sensitive to the fact that people are sitting with the arms and rearms of bullets like we are at war? Why are they concerning themselves with those who stole food? We have government-sanctioned vigilantism, Manyi said. The unrest in the country could have been avoided, he said. The Constitutional Court justice should take time to reflect on what has happened in the country, he added. So that's the Zuma Foundation spokesperson, which apparently wants there must be a commission, they must establish a commission to investigate the deaths of 200 people during the looting. The people died during the looting because there was stampede, there was people running mad, and there was no order. So if anybody wants to know why people died during the looting, go watch TV. You'll know why people died. You can't go and mess up people and run like mad people and expect that nothing's gonna happen. That one, people called it on themselves. Let's just be honest. So that one whereby there need to be a commission to do the women to in court for involvement in KwaZulu-Natal riots. See, that's still that one where they are arresting people. Let's see what can I find about the taxi violence in the Western Cape. This one of Zuma now, Prince Tokozani Zulu accused Mango suitable tellers for remotely controlling King Misuzulu and previous kings. Oh, the Duzani Zuma respond to criticism over his lot respond. Respond advice. Okay, before we do the Cape Town one, let's do this one because now they are arresting everybody which they feel like were the ones which were fueling the looting. And Duduzane Zuma is one of the people which they were looking into as well because I remember the ANC Secretary General Jessica was saying something about they are looking into the Zuma children and also trying to find out with the things which they were writing on the social media. So let's say what is Duduzane saying. This is Times Live and it was written by Tsebeli Hlebengu and it was 10 hours ago. It says it is not encouraging looting. Duduzane responds to criticism over his loot responsible advice. Yeah. Hey, today my English is on a small rant. The controversial businessman came under fire for telling protesters and looters to do so carefully and responsibly. The 12-minute long video was shared on Instagram. And Duduzane Zuma doesn't have a social media account, but he's got a 12-minute long video which was shared on Instagram. I don't know. Speaking to Newsroom Africa on Monday, Duduzane said those condemning his view should listen to the rest of the video clip. He said the video was recorded about 4 days into the demonstrations and sought to clarify that he had not instigated the unrest. The incarceration of the former president triggered violent and protest and demands for his release by supporters in KZN. The unrest later spread to Gauteng. It is definitely not encouraging looting, said Zuma. I think people are trying to focus on a certain voice clip and are blowing it out of proportion. There are comments that I made leading up to that point, and I think there is some sort of misunderstanding or confusion. If you play the entire clip, you will understand what it is I was trying to say. In the controversial video, Duduzane claimed poverty, inequality, and unemployment are to blame for the unrest, saying people were born to protest against these issues. He repeated calls for the release of his father before making the controversial comments. For the people that are protesting and looting, please do so carefully and please do so responsibly because you cannot hold people responsible for defending what they love, he said. Among Zuma's critics was puppet Chester Missing, who questioned the logic behind his advice. Missing asked whether he gave the same advice to former SA Revenue Service SARS boss Tom Moyane, who was fired by President Cyril Ramaphosa amid allegations of corruption. So that was what was saying. Some of the looters were regulars at my focus and more take flex on. Okay. So the more news now, just the cleanup, what's happening at the malls, how is the mood, how the people are feeling. So let's just see what we can find on West Cape Town. Let's say Cape Town. Taxi. Yeah, taxi violence. The Times Life, I think, okay, you already find flare up in taxi will sparks looting alarm in Cape Town. And this was when I can't see the date. So let's just try this one, 210714. This is old. Okay, let's just say, okay, who about 100 bus commuters affected by Cape Town taxi violence. This is 2 hours ago. IOU. Cape Town responsible impact. Cape Town commuters strand amid taxi violence. Dispute over taxi routes. The daily walks. Okay, let's take the IOL news. Ooh, my eyes are burning. Okay, it says News South Africa IOL. So, what is IOL? I'm not sure. Okay. About 100,000 bus commuters affected by Cape Town taxi violence, and this is by Robin Lee Franca 2 hours ago. And it says Cape Town. The Golden Arrow bus service GAP said on Tuesday that the taxi violence in Cape Town, which has seen them operating a limited number of buses, has affected approximately 100,000 of their commuters. This comes after a GAP's bus driver was shot on Monday morning while transporting passengers along the N2 highway near Boshett's Quarry. The driver sustained a gunshot wound to his mouth. GAP spokesperson Bronwyn Dake Beyer said the company had managed to speak to the driver, who has been in service for 6 years, and that he was in a stable condition. On Monday evening, commuters were left stranded as the bus drivers refused to get behind the wheel in fear of their lives. Cape Town is in the grips of a taxi war between rival mother body associations, specifically the Cape Amalgamated Taxi Association, CATA, and the Congress of Democratic Taxi Associations, CODETA. Dake Beyer told African news agency ANA that of GAP's 1,100 buses, it was currently running at approximately 40% capacity. And the most affected routes being Blue Downs, Mitchell's Plain, and Delft. We are working closely with law enforcement who are assisting us with escorts in areas of concern. What is needed most is for the authorities to find a lasting solution to the current crisis. Approximately 100,000 of our own passengers and thousands of others who were not able to make use of taxis and trains were affected, she said. A passenger traveling from Tableview to Mitchell's Plain on Monday evening spoke to ANA on condition of anonymity amid safety concerns. The pensioner said she was headed home when the bus stopped at the Killarney interchange, where a large group of people had gathered. She said it was quite frightening because commuters had to jump out of the bus as some shoved forward to disembark while others pushed to board. The Mitchell's Plain bus never showed up. Many people did not have money for taxi fare. It was not a nice feeling. Fortunately, I got to the town center safely. This morning, Tuesday, there were no buses, just one or two, but nothing to go to Killarney, Bloemfontein, or Century City. She had to turn back, she told ANA. Dake Beyer said the incident at the Killarney interchange was not reported, but the evening was chaotic on all fronts. With permission, we continue to operate until after curfew to assist as many passengers as we could, she's added. African News Agency ANA. That's what is happening in Cape Town. As you've seen on your social medias, the pictures, the violent pictures of what's happening in Cape Town, and yeah, Zuma reported. I don't think we're gonna do much. Oh, today let's see what do they say about George Bazoum going to space. Okay, back to the last part of our news today. We're going to space again, like the last time. What's this guy now? I'm trying to see. I can't even get to the new space buying kind of thing. Yeah, Jeff Bezos travels to space with Blue Origin. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. I don't think there's any news because this is sending me to a YouTube page. Yeah. That's the Blue Origin launch underway. So this was billionaire Jeff Bezos' attempts to fly to the edge of space aboard a aboard a rocket and capsule developed by his private space company Blue Origin. But there's mostly videos. So So this was from NBC News Digital Collection. That's where we got the video. I don't see any information. So that's what was happening on the other side of the world. People are still going to space. So this time around, it was the billionaire Jeff Bezos' attempts to fly to the edge of space aboard a rocket and capsule developed by his private space company, Blue Origin. So it says Blue Origin heads to space. That was what was happening today. So it seems like a lot of people are seen going to space. And as you all know, we are still in COVID. Nothing has changed. We're still keeping our mask. We're washing our hands, keeping our safety. And there's a lot of vaccinations taking place as well now. So that's the nice thing about it. Most will be delayed till no later than 2022. So the elections might be delayed. The Musaneke election should be delayed. Let's see. This is the last news we're doing today. It says this is from the Daily Mavericks and it was written by Sean Payne 57 minutes ago. It says Musaneko reports election should be delayed until no later than February 2022. The scheduled 27 October local government elections called to not be free and fair due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. According to former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Musaneke, who released a report on Tuesday as requested by the Independent Electoral Commission. On Tuesday, 20 July, Musaneke and the Commission IEC briefed the media in Centurion as they released the results of a report which sought to investigate the feasibility of a free and fair election due to be held on 27 October. The IEC said it would be studying the reports and a consultation process with political party liaison committees is ongoing. It will make an announcement on the way forward in the next few days. In May, Musaneke was asked by the IEC to lead an inquiry into whether conditions would be conducive to hold free and fair elections. Political parties, including the Economic Freedom Fighters and Inkatha Freedom Party, have called for a postponement of the municipal elections. They were due to be held on Wednesday, 27 October, but this has not been formally proclaimed yet by Cooperative Governments and Traditional Affairs Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. During public hearings in July, there was a stark division between political parties over whether the election should go ahead. Read Daily Mavericks report here. At the briefing, Musaneke said it was not reasonable, possible, and not likely that the polls could be free and fair. He recommended the elections be postponed until no later than February 2022. Musaneke raised several health concerns, low vaccination rates, a possible fourth wave expected at the end of the year, and the risks associated with large political gatherings while campaigning. He pointed out that the IEC had approached the Electoral Court 8 times between May 2020 and June 2020 for a postponement of elections. The most recent one, which was due to be held on Wednesday, 30 June, was postponed as the IEC felt it could not be held under free and fair circumstances due to alert level 4 regulations, which we are in. Other issues raised during the investigation, Musaneka concluded, were that there would be an unequal footing with bigger parties being able to use platforms such as social media effectively during shift to online campaigning, while smaller parties could not do so. Musaneke reiterated that the IEC retains the right to hold elections on its chosen date. We know that everyone was working under extreme pressure, added IEC chairperson Glenn Mashinini, as he thanked all those who worked on the report. He said Musaneke's report was completed within 61 days and sent 1 day before it was due. The report will be uploaded to the IEC's website later on Tuesday. That was the Daily Mavericks. So I think for today, that's all we're going to do. We're not going to do more than this. I don't know, my eyes are burning and I think I'm too near the light. And I don't want to be too far because yesterday I think I was standing too far from the light and my video just didn't come out nice. So today my eyes are burning and I feel like I'm too close. So family, I think that's all we are doing for today. We've done this, mostly it was still about the Zuma case and okay, it's Babu Zuma's case, and also the taxi violence in Cape Town, and we've done the launching of the space. We keep on launching space, going to space now. So that's all we have for today on our thinking. And we also have got Becky Cele and Dlodlo, who whether the police were told by the intelligence what was happening or they were not told, we're also there. And also on the Zuma Foundation, which wants an inquiry commission to find out about the dates of the people during looting. So that's where we are in South Africa for now. And Duduzane Zuma saying that he wasn't saying people should go out and go loot. He was actually saying people should respond to criticism over his loot were responsible. I don't know if there's any responsible looting. I'm not sure. I've never seen it, because if there was any responsible looting, there wouldn't be people dead now, and the Zuma Foundation saying there should be a commission to investigate why the people died. So maybe those people which died were not looting responsibly, so we're not there. But people, oh, that's all we have for this week. That's all we could touch. There's so much happening, but I think that's enough for now. So thank you family, for all the love again, and please don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, and also recommend the channel to anybody which you think will be interested. And also thank you for the love and thank you for the growth. This channel has been growing, and I am so grateful, and thank you people. I really appreciate it, family. So till next time when we're doing Thinking Things again, bye. Have all a wonderful Tuesday till we meet again.